into a nightmare. In Marshals Season 1, Episode 8, the line between hunter and hunted completely disappears. Kayce Dutton, a man trying to outrun his past, is forced into a situation where control slips through his fingers, and by the end of the episode, one of his own is gone. This isn't just a case anymore. This is war. The episode opens in a quiet but tense atmosphere. There's something off from the very beginning, like the calm before something violent. Kayce Dutton moves with purpose, but there's a weight behind every step. He's not just working the case anymore. He's carrying pressure from all sides. As a U.S. Marshal, Kayce is used to danger, but this time feels different. The case they're working involves a fugitive tied to a larger criminal network, one that had been operating in the shadows for far too long. Intelligence suggests that this isn't just a lone operator. There's structure, coordination, and influence behind the scenes. And that's what makes it dangerous. Kayce isn't alone, though. His team, including Andrea, is right there with him. Andrea stands out not just as a capable marshal, but as someone sharp, observant, and unafraid to question things. She's not the type to blindly follow orders, and that quality becomes important as the episode unfolds. From the beginning, there are subtle signs that something isn't right. Information doesn't line up. Movements feel anticipated. It's almost as if the enemy knows what the marshals are going to do before they do it. And that thought lingers. The team tracks a fugitive across multiple locations, following leads that seem promising at first. But every step forward comes with resistance. They arrive at one location expecting to catch their target, but it's empty, recently abandoned. Too clean, too perfect. It's not just bad luck. It feels like they're being led. Andrea is one of the first to voice concern. She points out that the timing doesn't make sense, that someone could be feeding information to the other side. Kayce doesn't dismiss her. In fact, he starts to see it too. And that realization changes everything. Because if there's a leak, then the danger isn't just out there. It's inside. Things escalate quickly when the team finally gets a solid lead on the fugitive's location. This time it feels real. The setup is intense. The team prepares carefully, moving in with precision. Every step is calculated. Every position is covered. For a moment, it seems like they finally have the upper hand. But then it all falls apart. The fugitive escapes. And not just escapes. He vanishes in a way that feels impossible. Gunfire breaks out. Chaos takes over. One of the team members is injured, and the entire operation collapses into confusion. Kayce is left standing in the aftermath, trying to make sense of what just happened. But deep down, he already knows. This wasn't just a failed mission. This was a setup. After the raid, tension fills every conversation. Nobody trusts the situation anymore. Kayce begins to connect the dots. The missed opportunities, the perfect timing of the enemy, the way every move they make is anticipated. It all leads to one conclusion. Someone is leaking information. Andrea pushes this idea further. She starts digging deeper, questioning not just a case, but the people around them. And this is where things become dangerous for her. Because the closer she gets to the truth, the more she puts herself at risk. As the episode progresses, there's a shift in power. The marshals are no longer controlling the situation. Instead, they're reacting. Every move feels like it's being watched. Every decision feels like it's already been predicted. It's a psychological game now, and the enemy is winning. Kayce feels it. The pressure builds on him, not just as a leader, but as someone responsible for the lives of his team. He's trying to hold everything together. But the cracks are starting to show. Throughout the episode, Kayce's internal conflict becomes more visible. He's trying to follow protocol, trying to do things the right way. But the situation doesn't allow it. This is something fans will recognize from Yellowstone. Kayce has always struggled between doing what's right and doing what's necessary. And in this episode, that struggle reaches a breaking point because the system he's trying to trust might be compromised. The night everything changes. As the episode moves toward its final act, the pace slows down, but the tension rises. It's nighttime, the kind of quiet that feels unnatural. The team begins to regroup, trying to recover from the failed operation, but there's an unspoken fear hanging in the air. Something is coming. Andrea, still focused on uncovering the truth, continues to piece things together. She's close, closer than anyone realizes. And that's when it happens. Andrea is kidnapped. It's sudden, silent, and terrifying. Andrea disappears. There's no dramatic warning, no drawn-out struggle, just the realization that she's gone. One moment she's there, the next she isn't. And that's what makes it so disturbing, because it means the people behind this didn't just act, they executed their plan perfectly. They knew when to strike. They knew how to avoid detection. And they knew exactly who to take. The moment Andrea's disappearance is discovered, everything changes. Panic sets in, but it's controlled panic. Kayce reacts immediately. He starts asking questions, retracing steps, trying to find anything that could lead to her. But there's nothing. No clear signs. No obvious trail. Just absence. And that's when the reality hits. This wasn't random. This was targeted. Andrea wasn't chosen by chance. She was taken for a reason. There are a few possibilities, but all of them point to something bigger. She may have discovered something important. She may have gotten too close to identifying the leak, or she may have been taken as leverage to control Kayce and the rest of the team. Whatever the reason, it was intentional, and that makes it even more dangerous. This is the moment where Kayce changes. Up until now, he's been trying to stay within the rules, but Andrea's kidnapping pushes him past that point. You can see it in his expression, in the way he moves, in the silence before he speaks. This is no longer about orders. This is personal. And when things become personal for Kayce, everything else comes second. The episode closes on a heavy, unresolved note. There's no rescue, no answers, just questions. Kayce stands at the center of it all, caught between what he's supposed to do and what he feels he has to do. Andrea is gone. The enemy is still out there, and the truth is still hidden. But one thing is clear. The balance of power has shifted. The Marshals are no longer hunting. They are being hunted. The ending of episode 8 isn't just about Andrea being kidnapped. It's about control. The enemy has taken control of the narrative. They've forced Kayce into a position where he has to react instead of act. And that's exactly where they want him, because a reactive opponent is easier to manipulate. At the same time, the episode sets up a much larger story. This isn't just about one fugitive or one case. This is about a system that may be compromised from within, and Kayce is right in the middle of it. Andrea's kidnapping changes everything. It turns a mission into a personal war. It exposes the cracks within the system, and it forces Kayce into a position where he can no longer rely on anyone but himself. As the story moves forward, one question remains. How far is Kayce willing to go to bring her back? Because if this episode proves anything, it's that the rules don't apply anymore. If you enjoyed this full breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned to Narravu Stories for more deep story breakdowns like this. because the story is far from over, and things are only going to get darker from here.